Welcome back to Learning with Tia. In this video, we'll talk briefly about the structure of the accounting and more specifically the auditing profession. So let's get started. All professional accountants in Australia will be a member of at least one of these professional bodies. There is the Institute of Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand. These individuals are called CAs. You have CPA Australia. These individuals or members of this group are called CPAs, like me. Let's do a smiley face. I feel like it's appropriate. Third one is the Institute of Public Accountants, IPAs. So as I said, all professional accountants will be a member of at least one of these bodies. Now, though membership of these bodies by accountants is indeed voluntary, that's better. Though membership of these bodies is voluntary, membership is required if someone wants to become registered as a company auditor with ASIC. In order to gain membership into these professional bodies or professional groups, often two elements are required. First of all, postgraduate studies. So there'll be a number of courses that you need to sit and pass. And also, you will require a certain minimum number of years of professional experience in the accounting industry. Once membership has been attained, it needs to be maintained as well. The way it is often maintained is by engaging in what's called continuous professional development. So for example, as a member of CPA Australia, I'm required to engage in a minimum of 120 hours of continuous professional development every 3 years. Now, this requirement links back to the fundamental principle of professional competence and due care, because what it requires of the member, of the professional, is to not only have the skills and have the knowledge to become a professional accountant, but it's also required that they maintain and keep that knowledge updated along the way and along their career. There are 3 levels of audit firms within Australia. At the international level, we refer to organisations including the Big Four. So you have PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, which is EY, KPMG, which is where I used to work, and you have Deloitte, in addition to other firms as well. At the national level, our national firms include organisations such as Grant Thornton, PKF, Moore Stephens, and so on. And then we also have the regional or local firms as well. Something I wanted to note at this point in time is that, ladies and gentlemen, audit can take place in many different organisations of various sizes and in various industries. As such, some audit firms are now structured so that each section or each department actually specialises on a certain industry. So, for example, when I was spending my time as an auditor at KPMG, my specialisation was the insurance firms. So I was within the insurance group. One of my friends was in the banking sector. So there are different specialisations. I actually remember a story that one of my friends from banking was telling me about one day how they had to go to a banking client and perform a stock take. Now, just remember, a stock take is a process whereby you count particular assets of a client. Now, what's the biggest asset of a banking client? Money. So I kid you not. So my friend had to wear a special outfit. It was a one-piece outfit with no pockets because they didn't want him taking any of the money, and literally had to spend a day counting money within a vault of the bank. So when some people have this misconception that auditors spend all their time in the office, that's not true all the time. I actually had another friend of mine who was in the mining group, and therefore travelled to Perth quite often to go and see the actual mines. So, like I said, it's not just an office job, and it can be very interesting. Though audit firms are known primarily for providing audit services, they actually do also offer non-audit services as well. So these include such things as tax services, so providing assistance with tax returns, management services, internal audit services, other accounting services such as bookkeeping, and as well as insolvency related services as well. Often the reason for this is, believe it or not, audit is quite a low profit margin service. Firms don't make much money from audit because once you start learning more about the process, you'll understand that it's incredibly detailed. There's a lot of work that's involved, and a lot of time and a lot of resources are required. So some audit firms audit firms do often try to also provide non-audit services as well, or non-assurance services such as consulting and bookkeeping. Also, the reason being because they do have higher profit margins. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to remember audit firms are profit-seeking organizations. They are not charities. They are not non-for-profit. So they do have an intention to, make profit at the end of the day also. Now, in saying that, in providing non-assurance services such as these, audit firms must be very careful in order to avoid creating a conflict of interest situation. So if we assist a client in preparing their financial report, we can't turn around and audit that report because that would be self-review threat, which we've discussed in class. One way that organizations or audit firms deal with situations like that, where they'd like to provide both audit services as well as non-audit services, is by having different departments. So having one department with individuals that provide non-audit services, and having another department with individuals that provide audit services. This is often a safeguard that organizations put in place to try to deal with the risk of self-review. Remember, a safeguard is any activity, any task, any mechanism that an audit firm puts in place to try to reduce or eliminate a threat. Looking at the internal structure of an audit firm, or more specifically an audit engagement, you would often find either a single or a couple of partners. You'll have one lead partner on an audit engagement and potentially one or two others depending on the size of the client. Underneath the partner, you will have a manager or a few managers. Underneath the managers, you'll have a few supervisors, or what we often call them seniors. Now, seniors can also be called in-charges. So they're the ones that will manage the junior staff. And on that note, that is the final component. So the lowest level are the juniors. Now, these could be undergraduates, known as cadets. They could be graduates as well. And this essentially sets out the structure. So what you can also see in this slide are often the responsibilities by each of the people within this structure. Now, one thing that's quite important to highlight at this point is this hierarchy from top to bottom is incredibly important. Why? Because this is the hierarchy that is used in the review process. What do I mean? Well, the work of the juniors are reviewed by the seniors or by the in-charge. The work of the seniors are reviewed by the manager. The work of the manager is reviewed by the partner or partners. And the work of the partner is often reviewed by other partners, either within the firm or outside of the firm. And I'll talk about that very soon. Now, this review process is incredibly important. Why? Because this links back to the quality standards that need to be upheld. So let's talk about that next. So how can we ensure that everyone that is involved in an audit is doing the right thing? Well, we need to ensure quality control. Now, the standards that assist in the development of quality control and set out the requirements for quality control are APES APES 320, as well as ASA 220. So these are the standards that actually guide what quality control measures are required within audit firms and audit engagements. So what is quality control? Quality control refers to the procedures used by the audit firm to help it consistently meet auditing standards. Now, quality control has a number of elements, and these elements include, I'll start from the top right over here, includes the need to have leadership responsibilities for quality. Have a leader that is actually responsible for making sure that the quality control standards are being upheld. It includes having ethical requirements or meeting ethical requirements such as independence. Having rules about how we accept or when we accept new clients and whether we should continue providing services for existing clients. So this is engagement acceptance and continuance procedures. Human resources, having procedures regarding the recruitment or the selection and the recruitment of the right people. Engagement performance, making sure that the audit is being performed with care. Monitoring the work that is done, so ensuring that work is being continually checked, that's monitoring. And finally, making sure that all audit procedures and all testing that is conducted is well documented. These are the elements of quality control. Remember, quality control is extremely important in auditing because the work that we do and the ultimate opinion and conclusion we arrive and we formally communicate is going to be relied upon by people who are relying on the financial report. So because reliance is going to be placed by users in our final conclusion, we need to have processes and systems in place to ensure all the tasks that we perform are performed correctly and to a high standard. Some key quality control procedures that are often employed and implemented within audit firms include internal reviews and peer reviews. Now, peer reviews refer to the checking of each other's work, and this can happen within a firm as well as between firms. As I mentioned previously, we have a hierarchy whereby the work of juniors are checked by seniors, the work of seniors are checked by managers, and the work of managers are checked by partners. Now, I can tell you this from personal experience, the work of partners can be checked by other partners within the same organisation or in another audit firm. So for example, the audit file of a KPMG partner might be checked by a PwC partner. So this relates to peer reviews. Peer reviews is when it's being checked, and I'll highlight this for you. Peer review is when a review is being performed by another firm. Okay, so somebody in another audit firm. An internal review is when the review is being conducted by another partner in the same practice, in the same audit firm. The Institute of Chartered Accountants ANZ, as well as CPA Australia, can also engage in quality review programs. In addition to that, and I've mentioned this earlier, ASIC also performs annual checks of the Big Four and random inspections of other audit firms. Remember, they're trying to ensure that all standards are being complied with. This includes quality standards. Another quality control procedure is the regular rotation of auditors. As mentioned previously, remember, an audit partner can only stay as the partner on an engagement for a maximum consecutive period of 5 years before they need to rotate to another client. This links back to a previous topic, but the reason why we have this particular quality control procedure is to deal with the threat of familiarity. It's not going to fit. So this is to deal with the threat of familiarity. And again, this is what we would call a safeguard. Finally, we also have the requirement for continuous professional development, so CPD requirements, and that's in relation to maintaining the professional membership with CA, CPA, and IPA. Well done on getting through another video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and I will see you later.